Hello, Brian King here. If you happen to be watching me live, please comment hashtag live. If you're watching the replay, please type hashtag replay. William James once said, "The greatest weapon against stress is our ability to choose one thought over another." There's one meme or one idea that I see constantly showing up, and that is the idea that we have control over our own thoughts. That's a bit of a misnomer because we don't control our thoughts. Thoughts happen. When you take a look at your thoughts all day long, they're just kind of bubbling up out of nowhere. You can try and grab onto one thought, but other thoughts can intrude. You can try and hang on to a thought, but inevitably you're going to let go of it because something else catches your attention, or you remember that you need to be paying attention to another thing. It's kind of like trying to hold water in your hands. The water will evaporate. The water will soak into your skin. It'll go through your fingers. You don't control the water and you don't control your thoughts. What we do have influence over, what we do have say in, is which thoughts we focus on, which ones get our attention. And even then, the attention's temporary because the thoughts pass. You follow me so far on this? What William James is basically saying is that, we choose one thought over another. We choose which ones get our attention. Have you ever been in a mood where you're feeling kind of down, you're getting caught up in the woe is me, the little pity party, but then a positive thought pops in? One that says, hey, you know what? Maybe things aren't really as bad as you're making them out to be. Or maybe you're a better person than you're giving yourself credit for. And then you say, screw that. I don't want to get my hopes up. It can't really be that simple or that positive. Let's go back to the pity, pity, pity. So in that moment, it wasn't that the positive thought wasn't available to you. It was simply that you chose to focus on all the thoughts that agreed with what your ego was telling you in the moment. The woe is me, the pity me, that's the one that we're going to focus on. Me, pity, pity, pity. It's not to say there weren't a million other positive thoughts there, but the 10 negative ones are the ones you chose to pay attention to. It's almost never a matter of quantity. The idea that, there's nothing positive in the world, or the world is a difficult place. Really? What are you choosing to pay attention to? It isn't that it isn't there. It's that you're not attending to it. This whole idea of control is so problematic because it gives the idea that you are able to have mastery over it, to have complete say in what you're able to do and not do with something. That's not the case. What you do have complete say in is what you are aware of and what you allow to be stirred up in you as a result of where you place that awareness. What I found is that realizing this idea of control is a big farce, and what really sets you free is not trying to hang on to any of the thoughts at all, whether positive or negative. Just let them all go. Well, does that leave you mindless? Does that leave your head empty? No. What it does do is prevents you from becoming reactive, from responding to the world with impulse. It allows you to tap into an awareness that in the moment, at any given moment, things are awesome. Things are amazing. Things are majestic. The words escape it because words really can't capture what I'm talking about. What's available is everything because you're not locking yourself in to one idea, one thought, one feeling. When you're able to let go of all of it and realize it's just thinking, they're just thoughts, they're not truth. I've talked about this before. It's important to reiterate it because it's such a critical point of understanding. Your goal in this life is not to control anything. Your goal in this life is to open up your awareness so that you realize just how abundant life is and just how powerfully you can show up in any given moment and tap into every resource the universe has so that you can channel that into what you bring to the moment. So that's my kind of 2 cents on this. I hope it's helpful for you. Jocelyn just said, when my son says I'm making him mad, I tell him he's giving me an awful lot of control over his emotions. That's absolutely correct, Jocelyn. One thing you can also say is, why are you giving me that power? Because he needs to understand that he is delegating control of himself to you, or influence over his internal state to you. You can also ask him, when did you decide that? When did you decide that I'm responsible for your emotions? When did you decide that you are helpless over your emotions? Because he needs to understand that he is making a decision to relinquish that power. Or it's completely outside his awareness what tools he has to maintain influence over his own reactivity. That he can decide to change the story he has about what you're doing, what you're saying, how you're acting, and realize that it's less about him than he has made it out to be. But that's an entirely different conversation. I don't want to get too off topic. So let's leave it at this for now. Hopefully this is helpful. If you have any questions about what I've said, let's dive deeper. Ask a question in this thread, or send me off a message and we'll talk about it further. And please share this with anybody that you think can benefit from this message. Until next time, this has been Brian, and remember, life is good.